Hello and welcome to Two Cousins, One Chat. I'm Kristy and I'm thrilled to be one half of this podcasting dynamic duo.
And I'm Ben, and thanks so much for joining us. We have a very exciting episode coming up, Kristy.
We sure do, Ben, so let's get into it.
So how you going, Kristy? Great to see you again.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm good, Ben. It's really lovely to see you too. I'm going really well, thank you. I've had an excellent weekend. How about you?
Yeah, not too bad, just the usual. It's been pretty hot, actually. It's like summer's nearly over, but it's sort of saying, hang on a sec, I still got some unfinished business. So we're getting like weeks of 30 degrees, like 37, 35 kind of thing. So it's a bit hot at the moment, but it's not too bad. Lots of sunshine, so that's all good.
Yeah, we've had a great weekend in Melbourne. It's been 27 degrees, perfect beach weather. I did go to the beach today, so I had a really nice time down there. But yeah, Melbourne's been weird. We've had a couple of days here and there, and then I don't know, I think we're heading into autumn pretty quickly. So yeah.
And you've had the Swifty tsunami sweep through Melbourne.
Yeah, we sure have. It was super fun and so much fun to see everybody really getting into it and enjoying the whole Taylor Swift phenomenon that she is. So, yeah, it's been really brilliant. So now it's Sydney's turn, so they're having fun too.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you know how you've got your photo of me and you that you keep by the desk all the time?
Yeah.
Of me whenever you record. I'm now going to keep the juggling balls that you got me for Chris
KK.
For KK. And I'm determined I've never been able to juggle. I've had juggling balls before and I just couldn't do it. So I'm going to keep practicing and I'm going to juggle. So
because juggling looks easy, doesn't it?
It looks really super easy. Yeah. And Reed tried it, and within 5 minutes he couldn't do it, so he cracked it. I'm like, people dedicate their lives to this skill, so I'm going to try and juggle 3 balls. I can do it like twice, and then they just go everywhere. So
okay, yeah, I reckon you'll nail it. No worries.
You think so?
Yeah. This is a perfect thing for you to do, Ben. You're going to love it.
Okay, we'll see. I'll keep trying. Yeah. Anyway, today's episode.
Yeah, we have got a super interesting conversation lined up for you today. We have an international VIP guest to introduce you in a moment, and our topic on this episode is navigating mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah, so today we're chatting about our own physical and mental wellness and our own personal and preferred methods of managing our mental health and how we try to find some sort of balance because it's really difficult, right?
That's it, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so like most people juggling, work commitments or managing households or, raising families and children's and all children's school stuff and all the extracurricular activities. And then adding in time for self-care. It's a really tough juggling, pardon the pun, act.
Maybe that's why I can't do it.
Yeah, right. Oh, well, this is part of it. But a lot of the times, making time for your own physical and mental health are so way down the line. So we totally get it.
Absolutely. And look, we should mention, by the way, that we're not doctors. Okay. This is just our point of view. So if you're looking for a professional opinion, maybe don't take this podcast as the professional.
No, don't ask us. We're just going to give our POV.
We're just pretending we know what we're talking about. So, Kristy, you sound like you've got it completely all together. What strategies and routines do you follow for this healthy balance between work and personal life and mental well-being?
Far from having it all together, Ben, but one of the strategies that I attempt for me is trying not to cram everything in on the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
So, for example, sometimes I feel kind of overwhelmed with all the tasks or the stuff that I need to get done on the weekend. And, that might include, catching up with my mum or family or working on the podcast or catching up with friends even. But what I'll always try and do is keep up some sort of exercise. I've banged on about the TIFXO program and that's helped me a lot. Really helps me clear my head, especially, cycling as well. But there's nothing like a good cycle to clear the head and get out on the bike. Love it. Get the wind in the hair. But, keeping in mind, I don't have children, so our life is a lot different to people who do have kids. And I fully appreciate that. But one of the strategies is I just do try and just stop, down tools, and that's it on a Saturday or Sunday. I've just got to stop. Otherwise, there's like everyone, there's a billion things to do.
Oh yeah, and you just keep going, going. I agree
What
with
about
the
you?
riding thing. Yeah, I love riding. I don't go for big, long, 100-kilometer rides, but I just go for local rides,
Mm.
and I do love it. I love those local rides. They just really clear my head, and yeah, it's always nice, and you feel a bit creative. I've actually started reading again, so I
Oh,
hadn't read
good.
for so long. So I just finished a book by Jane Harper, she's an amazing Australian author. And she wrote a book called The Lost Man, which, she's also done The Dry and Force of Nature, which is a
Oh, yeah.
huge, they've been turned into TV
Yep.
series and stuff. But yeah, so that was a really, really good book and such a page turner. And it was a mystery about a murder or someone who died. And it was really, really interesting. And I've now got The Rich by Rachel Lynch as my book that I've just started reading. So I'm
Great.
literally just like probably a few pages in. I haven't actually got that far into it yet. So yeah, I love reading. But one of my favorite things to do, the thing that actually probably gets me the most relaxed, is just getting outdoors. Sarah Reed and I going for walks, or we often go to the Botanic Gardens in the city, which I've
Oh,
talked about
yep.
before, because it's just, I mean, it's free. So, and it's huge, and there's so much to do that, like there's so much to see and lots of different beautiful spots. And on hot days you can find lots of shade, and it's just a really nice thing to do. So just getting out the three of us in the outdoors to the beach or something like that is something that really helps me, because I do struggle to wind down. I need to work on it.
Yeah.
I just struggle to be in the moment and just be still and kind of take in what I'm doing. I'm always thinking about 50,000 other things that I've got to do.
Yeah, I know. I totally get that, Ben. Um, Trying to get the balance between like physical and also mental health for me is something that I struggle with. So
Mm.
I think exercise for me really helps me kind of maintain that somehow. So if I try and do something every day, so it's part of my routine, and if I get out of my routine, I notice that I don't sleep as well or whatever. But it doesn't have to be a triathlon. It could just be a quick spin on the bike around the block, or a stretching or yoga class, or going for a walk down the street or down the beach, whatever. And also, now that my knee's starting to feel better, everyone, an update.
Yeah,
You're
update
welcome.
doctor.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. But the benefits for me personally, like being in that big open space, like you've talked about being at the
Mm.
park or whatever down the beach, it
Yeah,
super clears my head. It's like a reset for me.
so good.
Yeah. So, but one other really important aspect for me is sleep. So I know everyone sleeps, but getting to bed early and having enough sleep and not trying to stay up too late or reading a book, especially if it's a Rachel Lynch book, it's hard to put down. But yeah, sleep for me. What about you?
Yeah, oh yeah, sleep is a thing. I don't, some people have so much trouble sleeping. I feel really, really sorry for them, because it would just be horrendous. I actually don't really struggle to sleep. I've always been okay at sleeping. I just stay up too late because I'm a night owl, and then I want to stay up
Oh,
late, and then it's like, hey, it's midnight. What the hell are you doing? Go to bed, and so then I don't get enough sleep, but it's only because I don't go to bed early enough. So it's my own doing, but generally I sleep pretty good. Yeah.
right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, occasionally I have these insomniac nights where I just think I can't sleep, and I just give into it. I'm thinking, okay, tonight's just one of those nights where I'm just going to be up and awake,
Don't
and
fight
it
it.
happens every few months. If I've got a lot on my mind, I suppose, or if things are busy, it might happen. But generally, I sleep okay. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Um,
just rehydrating. Speaking of being healthy, so don't
oh,
worry about that. Yeah,
oh yeah, you can go
rehydration is
for
very
it.
important.
Yeah, aqua. Something that I wanted to share with you, Ben, and our lovely listeners, is something that's been a bit of a game changer for me, which involves my sleep routine.
Mm.
Yeah, so during COVID, I found it hard to get to sleep and also, excuse me, stay asleep. So I started listening to this guy on YouTube, basically telling you a story, which like a bedtime story, which assists you in nodding off to sleep. Right?
Ah,
He's an Aussie guy. I can't remember his name now. Anyway, but then as I was investigating this, like for different types of stories, because I was getting a bit bored with his stories, I came across this lady who has the most beautiful voice and the greatest selection of guided sleep down sleep talk down stories on YouTube. And her name is Tansy Forrest, and she's a clinical hypnotherapist. Right? So, anyway, as I started listening to Tansy, it's been over a period of time now, I shared my story with her. And then I thought, you know what? I want to chat to her. I want to meet Tansy. So we sent her an email, invited her to join us on the podcast for a chat about mental health and hypnosis. And do you know what? She said yes.
She said yes. Yay.
So it's a really big thrill for me and us, and we cannot wait to share this chat with you. So, Ben, let's do it.
Let's do it. Tansy Forrest is a certified practicing clinical hypnotherapist based in London. She has an amazing YouTube channel with over 85,000 subscribers, and it has a wide range of recordings and educational videos. But we chatted to Tansy about the real benefits and the power of hypnotherapy and hypnosis. Tansy Forrest, welcome to Two Cousins, One Chat.
Hi guys, thank you so much for having me on today. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Well, it's absolutely a delight, and we're so happy to meet you, Tansy, and see you on the screen tonight. And I have to say, I'm a massive fan and have been listening to you in my ears for over 2 years, and love your recordings on YouTube. They're just fantastic. So it's awesome to meet you.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm glad you're enjoying them, and it's great to connect with you guys in Australia from here in London.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And we're really interested to know, how did you get into this area of expertise? And perhaps you can explain what hypnotherapy is.
Yeah, sure. So I started my career as a school teacher, which I enjoyed but was very stressful. And I also had mental health issues myself. I've had anxiety, trauma, and alcohol use disorder. Which was challenging for me, but I'm not the kind of person that sort of sits back and accepts my lot. I wanted to improve my life. So I went on a kind of journey of discovery, if you like, to heal myself.
Mm-hmm.
And on that journey, that's when I discovered the power of hypnotherapy. And it really sort of raised my confidence, alleviated a lot of my symptoms. And I just thought, this is my calling. This is what I really want to do. So I changed careers and I set up my own business so I could help other people, which has been absolutely fantastic for me. And so back to your question about what hypnotherapy is, it's like a very relaxed state that you go into with the practitioner, either on listening to an audio or being present with a therapist. And it's a focused state of attention where you can see your life from different perspectives and effect positive change, improve confidence, deal with addiction issues, or whatever it is you're wanting to focus on. And the messages bypass the conscious side of your brain and can be deeply implanted in the subconscious.
So, how does hypnotherapy differ from traditional therapy methods, and what makes it effective in treating issues like anxiety, insomnia, and addiction that you were referring to before?
Yeah, so traditional methods vary. Give the example of counselling. That might be about talking about past events that have happened in your life and discussing them. Whereas I'm a future-focused hypnotherapist. So I would work with people about focusing on their positive future and what they can affect, what they can control, and techniques in which they can use themselves to improve their life whilst helping them feel relaxed and putting them into a state of, I can do this. And that's really the difference for me.
So it's sort of, yeah, positive, forward-looking, almost like imagine the possibilities kind of way of looking at it, rather than reliving previous experiences. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's right. So, and I'll talk about this in a bit more detail later on. But the beauty of hypnotherapy and something you can listen to is that you can create an image in your mind about how you want your life to be. And that's very, very powerful because our brain can't tell the difference between fantasy and reality. So right there, you've got an opportunity to create a positive future in which someone is functioning much better than they currently are.
Yeah, wow.
It's so interesting, isn't it? So many people may be skeptical about hypnotherapy, Tansy. So how do you address some of those misconceptions or reservations people might have before trying hypnotherapy?
Yeah, great question. So if you think about films and how hypnotherapy is portrayed, it's often portrayed in a bit of a sinister manner. The words mind control perhaps come up, when people are discussing it. And also you've got the idea of stage hypnosis, which, people have seen people clucking like a chicken and that kind of thing. But that's for entertainment purposes, and that's quite different. And, people are picked for their kind of susceptibility to engage in those kind of activities. Maybe they've had a couple of drinks and that kind of thing. So it gives them an opportunity to behave in that way. Now, that's one type of use for hypnosis, but clinical hypnotherapy is very different. So clinical hypnotherapy is about using it for therapeutic manner. So using it to affect beneficial changes for the individual to help them kind of, deeply relax and to build their confidence and to sort of move forward in that way. So it's just a different way of using the same technique.
Yeah, actually, it's all making sense. It's not something that I have done myself, but people use it for, like addiction, say giving up smoking. So when you talk about imagining a future and, the brain can't tell the difference between fantasy and reality. So if you're imagining something, you can turn it into reality. That's so powerful, isn't it? Wow.
Yeah, and I've been, as I said before, I've been listening to Tansy for a couple of years now, but for the sleep, which we'll get into in a sec. But Tansy also has some weight loss or positive type thinking. So I have been listening to the weight loss ones, and I was a bit disappointed when I didn't wake up like I was a size 6 or something.
Well, the weight loss ones they're kind of, there's something you have to do consistently. So, and I think with weight loss, it's a tricky one because it's, if you think about how many choices you make around food every day, it's a huge kind of topic to change your behavior on that. But I think that, repetition is the mother of learning. So if you're listening over and over about how you want to feel, how you want to progress in your life, how would you want to feel in your body, what do you need to remember about healthy eating, when you've got those reminders, you're listening to it over and over again, it reminds you, oh yeah, today I'm going to go for my exercise, I'm going to make those healthy choices. Because if you think about healthy living, it's about what we do time and time again and that consistency. And that's where hypnosis can help to remind us what we need to do and why it's going to be good for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And no doubt you've helped countless people. Could you share a success story where hypnotherapy made a significant impact on someone struggling with behavior change, whether it's cutting down on alcohol or something similar?
Yeah, of course. I mean, my specialism is alcohol moderation. So 95% of my clients are people who have mild to moderate alcohol use disorder, and they want to cut down to healthier, safer levels. So typically I would do some coaching with them, and I would talk to them about why it's important for them to change and how they're going to change and come up with a plan. And that might be specific to binge drinking perhaps, or daily drinking. And that's the two types of people that I work with. I don't work with people who are physically addicted to alcohol, but I work with people kind of that mild to moderate range. So
Okay.
we'd spend the first part of the session talking about how we do it. Then I go away and I make the hypnosis for them. How are they going to feel? Positive changes, things to remember, self-care, all of that. So you get that combination of that coaching with that hypnosis. Then they go away and they listen to it and then they come back and then we discuss it and we move forward, and that works really well. So in terms of like results, typically I might see a client who is a daily drinker and they're drinking, say, 8 bottles of wine a week, and over a 6-month period we work together, or less in sometimes, depends on the client. They can put it down to, you know, the safe recommendations that we have in the UK of about 1.5 bottles of wine per week. Right. So that's, if you think about that, that's hugely beneficial
Absolutely.
for people. And the other thing I work with is binge drinkers. So they might not be drinking every day, but when they go out, they might not have that off switch. And typically what I see and what happened with me is they might be doing that 3 times a month. And then we work together and we both work hard and they work hard and make those changes. And then it might be 3 times a year. So that's the kind of positive changes, which, as you can imagine, is highly beneficial for all areas of their life. So that gives me a great sense of satisfaction when I see people, you know, feeling empowered, and then they think, right, what else can I change in my life? What else can I improve? Which is fantastic to see.
Tansy, are they like bespoke hypnotherapy sessions for your clients? So they're specifically crafted for the individual?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, so the recordings on YouTube are for a large audience. They're generic, right? So I put alcohol moderation ones on there, or sleep or whatever. But when people see me one-to-one, they would have that individual coaching, and then they would have, straight after the session, I get off and I make them their own personal recording, and then I send it to them. Now, if you think about that, that's going to be about what's specific. Yeah, say I was working with you, Kristy, I'd be talking about, okay, so what is it that's really important to you about that change? And that feels really special and lovely. And also those recordings, clients come back to me and they say, oh, I was listening to those recordings from 2 years ago. You know, they can always keep those. So, you know, I do find that works really well for people. Yeah.
Wow, that's quite a lot of work. Without giving away, obviously, identity or anything. I mean, when I think about binge drinking and that sort of
Yeah.
excessive drinking, it's kind of a
Mm.
cultural thing here in Australia, and I know it's also part of culture in the UK as well. So, how do you get people coming to you? I guess is the question. Is it through GP referrals, or are people having this self reflection, going, "Hang on, I need to make a change here"?
Well, I think I get people around the world because they listen to, periodically, I put out recordings on alcohol moderation, and they might listen to that. So I put one out about values a little while ago. People listen to that and they're like, oh, I like her work. I like what she's saying. I like her, you know, perspective on this. Because traditionally, the idea is that, you know, if you've got a drinking problem, you need to give up. Well, you know, that's not necessarily true, because alcohol use problems are on a spectrum from mild to severe. Now, some people may have to give up because alcohol's caused chaos in their life, and that's their decision. But that's not what everyone wants to do. Okay, so options save lives, as Claudia Christian said, who is a great advocate for harm reduction in alcohol use disorder. And I think that's true. I'm meeting the client where they're at, and you know, and this is backed up by the research as well. This isn't just my ideas. You know, I've looked at this and looked at lots of research papers on what people can do in relation to alcohol. And, you know, I wouldn't have a business if it weren't for the fact that people could cut down and feel so much better, which is what my book this year is all about, is about how people can cut down and get those results, so that I can actually help a larger group of people who want to listen to the recordings and affect the change through the self-help methods.
Well,
Fantastic.
it's super. It's incredibly popular. You have over 85,000 followers, subscribers on YouTube. So you are helping a really broad range of people. You must feel super proud.
Yeah, I mean, as we mentioned before in our chat, you know, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. I've got a team as well, you know, that help me, and I'm very lucky that my partner helps me with the tech stuff as well. So it's not just me, but I think in our society, there's a lot of people that are stressed with mental health issues, and they need that help. They need that help to unwind from the day. And so it's really nice for me to be able to help people with less resources to access that for free. and then have people that want the one-to-one, they can have that too. So there's something for everybody, which is really important to me as a therapist and someone who wants to do the most for the most amount of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And also you have
so
the
good.
Patreon too. So you can subscribe via Patreon.
Yeah, that's right. So out of, 80, 90,000, there'll be some people that think I use this a lot. I'm going to contribute to that. And that does help me improve the quality of the work. And, because I'm obviously working for myself. So that is really, really helpful. And that's just a kindness that other people are extending because they recognize it's a service that benefits them and other people.
Fantastic. This is such an awesome chat. I'm absolutely loving it. And my next question is right in my wheelhouse because I'm absolutely loving the sleep talk down, sleep meditation for sleep fast. So perhaps, Tansy, could you explain the concept of the sleep talk down and how it works in the context of hypnotherapy for improving sleep quality?
Yeah, of course. So I use a couple of techniques. So one is verbal suggestions, and they are phrases that are going to help people relax. So it might be, something like, there's no one wanting anything, no one needing anything. This is your time. So that allows people to have permission to take that time for themselves. And I've listened to a lot of meditations and I know what works for me. So I know if it's helping me and I've been anxious, then it's most likely going to be helping other people as well. So you've got those verbal suggestions. Then you've got imagery. Now, this is the creation of scenes within the person's mind. Now, I was lucky enough to grow up in the South English countryside. I spent my summers walking in the forest, gardening, sailing. Dorset is a really beautiful place to live.
Wow.
And I was very, very lucky. So that interest in nature and the outdoors allowed me to have a good knowledge of those concepts and ideas. So if I'm creating a scene about a seascape or a pasture or a forest, I can really conjure that up in the person's mind. Now we know that viewing scenes from nature is good for stress. It also stimulates the person. So it's a little bit interesting, but it's not interesting enough to stimulate you enough so that you won't sleep.
Yeah,
So you can probably relate to that, Kristy.
a lot.
Yeah. So it's sort of like taking you to somewhere beautiful so you can relax and then weaving in little techniques along the way just to create that kind of perfect blend to help you let go of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I might nod off in a minute because this is all triggering me. Like, I hear this every night. Yeah. So really cool.
So
Yeah,
you've
have a
got, I
good
mean,
one. Yeah, sorry.
I know I'm sorry, Tansy, because I was thinking, you've got all of those techniques, but it's also your voice and it's you. So there's a big element of you to this as well. And you do have a really nice soothing voice, just your talking voice, so it's not like you have to put on this totally different voice, although it is a lot more soothing to listen to on the
Yeah.
recording.
Yeah.
So what sort of techniques are you using in your voice and your breathing and when you're actually making those recordings to make sure that you have the effect that you want your recordings to have?
Yeah. Good question, Ben.
Yeah, great question. So, I mean, I think it's my voice. So, I think I was a teacher and I used to read a lot to kids in the classroom, and I realized I was quite good at that and I could do it and engage them. So that was a skill that I learned in teaching. I've also done it for 5 years now,
Yeah.
and you've no idea how many scripts I've got on my computer that I've written, and I listen to it every night myself. Okay, so I'm basically,
Ah,
saturated with meditations and hypnosis all the time. So not only am I looking for inspiration from other people and what they're doing, because there's a lot of other great people out there as well that are doing similar stuff, but I'm also thinking about what will help me relax. And I'm practicing, and practice makes perfect. So after 5 years, I'm doing it all day with clients. I'm doing it for my YouTube. You just kind of get better and better at something. And yeah, obviously there was luck with the kind of voice, and also people quite like the English voice as
yeah.
well. And my American clients something about it they particularly like. So yeah.
Because it's
Go, Kristy.
sorry, Ben. Because I can tell when you're okay, you get relaxed, you're getting people in the right space, getting comfy, how you feel in the bed, etc. And then it's like
Yeah.
your voice kicks into another gear, and it almost just drops and slows right down. It's so soothing, and then you know, sometimes I wake up like, oh my God, Ted's still going. Taking
Yeah.
years and but yeah, the way your technique is incredible, because it goes to a different level, a different gear.
Yeah, because you have the like the little messages, say hello to the different patrons, welcome them, and any kind of, you know, little bit of background. For example, this week's one is on Maria Island, where I visited. So,
In Tassie.
you know, yeah, it does. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. I
right.
went there at Christmas. Yeah, because I married an Australian, so I'm you know, we go back and forth and visit Australia, which is great because then I've got access to new landscapes that I can write about. And even if people haven't been there, they might think, oh, I really want to go to Maria Island now. So I do research on that and more research, find out about it, and then sift out what I want to use and then put that into the hypnosis. And people tell me that, oh, I Googled it and it's, you know, very similar to the place that, you know, I've researched myself, if they want to go that far. But yeah, so that's quite good, and that gives me new material as well to work with.
Absolutely. It's reminding me of another UK guest we've had, author Rachel Lynch, who I'm not sure if you've heard of Rachel. She's been on our show, and she sets a lot of her books, the trilogies at least, in the Lakes District, which is also very visually stunning as well. And she goes there for inspiration, and she's like, oh, because she writes sort of murder mystery type books, and she said that she'll go there and she'll look at a house or she'll look at a bit of a forest or something and say, oh, what could happen there? And it just gets her brain happening for her next lot of stories. So it's a very similar process. It's a very creative process that you're involved in, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. And because like being in nature is, and I love flowers. My name is a flower. Tansy is a flower. And my parents were like, you know, hippies, and you know, they brought me up in that kind of way where we would just be in nature all the time. We'd be wild camping. We'd be on the rivers. You know, I spent my childhood just picking flowers. So, and I thought everyone knew every flower name. It wasn't until I reached adulthood that I realized, no, everyone doesn't know every flower name. So that was something unique to my childhood that I can then use now to help other people relax, because there's something quite relaxing, isn't there, about nature. And you know, most people enjoy being by the sea or being by a lake or walking through a forest. So yeah, even if they can't get there themselves, they can think about it in their mind, and that's very soothing.
Absolutely. Tansy, finally, as we start to wrap up our amazing chat today, we have one last question for you. What advice would you offer to someone interested in using hypnotherapy, specifically for sleep-related issues, especially if they've never tried it before?
Yeah, sure. So it's just really to give it a try and see who you like to listen to, whose voice you like to listen to. There's lots of free stuff available on YouTube to listen to. And people can't control you. You know, I say to my clients, you know, no one can make you go into hypnosis. You do it for yourself if you choose to. So it's about finding someone with a voice that you like, the style of the meditation, the hypnosis, and just lying down and finding a comfortable spot and just going with the flow. It will feel very natural and soothing. And you know, I listen to hypnosis every night as part of my routine, and it's something I really look forward to. So it's free, and there's nothing to lose.
Great advice.
Exactly. Yes. Such great advice.
And I love that you're providing it for free as well. I heard this great saying once that if you cast out your bread, it comes back buttered, and that's always a phrase that's always stayed with me. It's about when I was in the fitness industry, it's about sharing. You know, so many people hold on to all their stuff, and they think, well, if I share it, you're going to steal it from me, and then I lose it. But I think, like what you're saying, if you share it, it actually it's so much better because you get so much back from it if you put it out there. So I think it's amazing that you've taken your profession and you're actually sharing so much of it for free to give so many people access to it. I think that's amazing.
Well, I can 100% vouch for it. And if you haven't had a listen to Tansy, jump on to YouTube and pop her in your ears and you'll be asleep in no time or whatever. There's such a wide range. Tansy, thank you so much for being on our podcast. It's been an absolute delight meeting you and seeing you kind of on the screen and, in 3D. kind of.
Kinda.
Yeah. But we really appreciate you taking the time to chat to us and talk to your Aussie fans.
It's been lovely to be with you guys, and thank you for the thoughtful questions, and I wish you all the best with your podcast that's also going really well. So thank you for having me today.
Well, that was just terrific. Ben, I absolutely loved speaking with Tansy. I got such a lot out of this chat, and actually I have so many more questions to ask. We actually kept recording, so I'm going to release those bit by bit, but we really appreciate Tansy taking the time to chat with us today.
Oh, she was wonderful. She was great fun to talk to, absolutely. And her husband is an Aussie, so she's literally just been in Australia recently. So we're going to claim her as our own. We've decided.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Aussie Tansy.
Aussie Tansy, that's it. Come on over.
Yeah. And I really encourage you guys to take a listen yourself. All the links are in the episode notes, and let us know what you think. Will you give it a try, or did it help you get to sleep? Or there's a whole range of, it's not just sleep talk down, there's a whole range of wellness and wellbeing type discussions that Tansy has on her YouTube page. So anyway,
give it a go. Yeah, I'm absolutely going to give it a go for sure. But that's it. Thanks everybody so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. And remember to follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and our new YouTube page is up and running, or visit Linktree site for all the links to where you can listen to this amazing podcast. It's always fun. Thanks, Kristy.
Definitely. Thank you, Ben, and have a great rest of the week, everyone. Bye for now.
Thanks, everyone. See ya.